I get started. Okay, we're good to go. So welcome to tonight's webinar. I hope you're pumped. I hope you're ready to extract as much as you can out of this. You know, we're all in different places at different times, and something that we even repeat or go over again tonight will resonate with you as it hasn't before. You may get another aha moment or a bit of a breakthrough around that. So, you know, don't get concerned of some of the things you've heard before. There's going to be a lot of new content, but I just want to really bed in some of the key things that we are doing in this program. So now I have to remind myself of how to get to the next page. There we go. Okay, brilliant. You all have the question or chat section right in front of you on your screen. I just want you to put in there what your biggest win was for the week. So this is going to be standard for the duration. I want us all to be very aware of what we have to celebrate, because we don't do enough of that. We're constantly looking at perhaps what's not working and where else we need to go, and you know, it's not focus. It's not our focus to be looking at where we're winning and how we're growing and the things that we have to celebrate, the achievements that we've had in the last 7 days. So I'd love for you all to just quickly jump in the chat and let me know what your biggest win was for the last 7 days. Because we all want to share in the celebration. So who's going to be first in putting in their win? Oh, mind you, I've got to make sure I look in the right place. Okay, here we go. Rosie, awesome. Pix, bear with me a moment because I don't get such a big screen. That's cool, Pix, if you have to leave early. Pix's win is she redid her YouTube playlist. Awesome. And taking some time out for me. Fabulous. Fabulous, because you are all aware of self-care, but it's like, what I want you, you know, the real philosophy and focus behind this group is around playing full out. And I know that individually I've talked to you all about that, but also in the group context. Now, playing full out means when you are playing full out in your business or in life, then you give it 100%. But it also means that when you are offline, so online playing full out, and you know what I mean by online, as in you're fully engaged in every aspect of what needs to be done in your business, you're fully engaging in life. But when you are offline, that is self-care time, self-care day, that you are fully 100% engaged in self-care. Just bear with me a moment because I'm just going to jump. Someone can't get in, so I'm just going to quickly make sure they've got the right link, so please bear with me. Don't we love technology? We're going to talk a little bit about kind of frustrations and how we deal with those tonight too. And mine this week has been a little bit around technology. So it's got you know, our frustrations, things like any hiccups that we may have with technology have a lot to teach us about ourselves, because it's what happens when we get that frustration that that we find out more about ourselves. Oh, this is getting a little bit frustrating. just 1 minute. Okay, cool. Hope she's got that now. Okay, so yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So great that you have been engaging in some self-care. Rosie, problem solving, clients' problems. I know that it has been a big kind of full-on intensive time for you, Rosie, and you have just been fully embracing the level of work that you have on at the moment. And, you know, I get that you've been solving some, you know, maybe some things outside your normal realm, but just a win is being able to solve those problems for our clients, right? Deborah, win is Grant getting a contract on his new listing. So that's one of your guys in the office, is that right? Getting a contract on that listing. So awesome job. Now Charlotte has just texted me to say that she can't get the chat. So what I find can work quite well is we may actually run the chat in the Facebook group as well, so everybody can see what everybody else is doing. So I'm just going to tonight just go with putting our wins in. Charlotte, if it's okay with you, if you are comfortable sending me a text and letting me know your comments, and I'll feed those back into the group as well. Some of you who I've talked to today are aware that I'm suffering terribly with sinus, so if I do have to stop and clear my head and clear my throat, please do bear with me. It's just, I don't know what's going on out there, but there's all sorts of stuff that it's affecting me right at the moment. But I'm good, other than just a croaky voice and a blocked nose and a bit of a raspy throat. I'm fantastic. Coming back, I think I've talked to you all since I came back from the Whit Sundays, but yeah, just love that the inspiration and the learnings, you know, I'm kind of pushing back out through the business and through to you guys as well, moving forward. So that's something that, you know, I continue to do, is learn and grow, not only myself, but also with how we can run our businesses better, how we can be marketing every aspect of the business. So Charlotte, just acknowledging her win, and that was maybe, she says, maybe just putting up my video. That was seriously hard for me. And great job you did too, Charlotte. Awesome. And that's what, again, what this program is all about, is you know, showing up and moving into that uncomfortability. And those of you who have put your videos up, awesome, awesome job. I'm super, super impressed, because it's one of the most confronting things to do, isn't it? Is be there, film something. It's not only about what we have to say, but it's also, you know, the world gets to look at us as well, right? And that is confronting. So congratulations to all of you who've done that. So now moving on to, what did you learn? I want you to really think about what your learning, your biggest learning was this week. So I'd like for you to first reflect kind of inwards and think about what impacted you, where did you have your aha moment around, you know, yourself. So a new distinction about yourself. But if it's not about yourself, then also kind of externally. What else did you learn? You know, maybe it's something around, you know, I learned that if I just go out there and do what needs to be done, then the results start showing up. That, you know, your confidence starts increasing, because you may not have even got the result that you wanted, but it just wasn't as confronting as perhaps you thought it was. But even if it was, you are able to really celebrate the fact that you did that, because it's been a biggie. You know, it's that one thing or two things on your list that you keep putting to the bottom of the list, because for whatever reason, it seems a bit scary. So there's just some examples of your learning. So I'd love to know in the chat, what did you learn? What was your biggest learning this week? And for Deborah, just kind of firming up on her win, it's Grant in her office, his first contract. So that's awesome milestone, brilliant. So Pix, your learning, let go of fears and the past. So what did you learn about that, Pix? Like what was the kind of the learning? Because we know that we need to let go of fears and the past, but what did you learn about yourself, or what did you learn? Did you learn a new distinction on how to do that? So I'd love for you just to share on what the distinction was for you. Rosie's learning, taking time out even though it was enforced, is important. Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes, you know, it's kind of the universe's way of reminding us that we need to do that on a regular basis when it's forced. So something happens which means you get taken out of your business, and hopefully it's because, you know, you are able to go and do something that is really about self-care and rejuvenation. But sometimes things happen where the consequences, we'd rather actually not have the consequences of having to be taken out of our business or out of what we're doing to slow us down and rejuvenate. So it's again a really good reminder to not wait for that biggie to come along and go, you've been working too damn hard, you've been not looking after yourself, so we're going to make sure that you do take some time out. And you know, that can sometimes come in the form of, you know, a bit of an accident. Maybe you trip up and hurt your knee, and hopefully that's all it is. But you know, you can look at some of the bigger experiences as well that come our way that make us, you know, that we end up in bed. Sometimes it's sickness, sometimes we get the flu or whatever, and it's our body's way of reminding us that we need to be looking after the not only the vehicle, the temple, but also the nourishment for what goes on in our head. So just everyone to be very aware of that, and yeah, let go of the need to be, you know, again, it's about the fully on or fully off. So fully online and then fully offline. And sometimes it doesn't have to be a huge amount of time. You know, a treat, you know, going for a massage or just taking an hour out every now and again, every couple of days, where it's just about rejuvenation. And sometimes, you know, again, it's about boundaries. And we're going to talk more about boundaries. But as one of the boundaries, because it's about refueling and fueling, so that you've got petrol in the car to go the distance. So what are those things that you're going to put in place regularly to make sure that you're fully fueled? Pix, it's holding me back and serves no purpose. 100%, honey. You know that 100%, is that right? It serves no purpose. Worry, fears of you know, consequences of doing something, or fears of, you know, fears that are based on projections from the past that you're projecting, you know, either they're going to happen again or whatever it is, but it's the whole projection. It's the meaning that we're attaching to something, and it serves no purpose other than, you know, fear serves the purpose when you're walking on a, you know, narrow edge at the top of a cliff, or, you know, there's a wild animal running at you. Absolutely, you know. We need to be doing something to preserve our life. But when we're talking about what goes on in our head, that worry, that fear, that's what we talk about when we're talking about letting go, and that it serves no purpose. So Rosie, yeah, great distinction. Once you move away from work and you get to think, and you come back with a fresh brain. Yeah, absolutely. And I know Rosie's been taken away from work for a few days that, you know, she'd rather not have had to experience that to take a few days off. But when you can actually fully embrace the kind of the blessing in whatever's gone on, then, you know, that's certainly one of the blessings, right, Rosie? You know, there are some intense situations that we find ourselves in sometimes, but it's looking at what is the blessing in that, you know, what's the gift in that, even when that's really hard to, like, we don't naturally want to go there and look at the gift. It's like, oh, this is, you know, this has happened and it's had a huge impact on me, and maybe in a negative way. So to be able to look at it and go, well, actually, what is the gift in this? Because it's shifting the focus from the negative to the positive, and that can only be you know, a win for you to be able to look at it in that way. PICS, I've actually been encouraged to coach and get paid for it. Fabulous. Now I'm just going to check my text to see if the lovely Charlotte. Okay, Charlotte, her learning is I need to push harder to get things done. No need to wait, just do it. Absolutely. You know, when we look at all the reasons that we have for not taking the action, you know, at the end of the day, when you kind of evaluate it and look at it, it's, I'm just going to use the technical term, it's bullshit. You know, the things that often that we use as the reasons for us not doing something. And you know, we've explored this before, and we're going to explore it more. It's about what is the bullshit, basically, that we're putting in our way that seem like legitimate reasons for us not doing what needs to be done. Then everything shifts when you realize that it is actually an excuse. And when we push past that and through that and are able to do it anyway, you know, it's what's that saying about ask a busy person to do something and they'll get it done. It's, you know, sometimes it's just a matter of really, you know, maybe you have to step up and do some extra time. Maybe it's, you know, certainly this is what the morning ritual is about, is getting you in the very best state so that you are able to take the action from an empowered place and you're not stuck in confusion and overwhelm and procrastination and avoidance, so that you actually almost like 10 times your productivity just by being in your flow and in the very best emotional state every day. So some awesome learnings and distinctions there. Just make sure I haven't missed any. Rosie's just clarifying. She had some personal closures. Yeah, she needed the rest. It was just a horrible way to get it. So yeah, absolutely get that. And again, just look at those reminders. You know, for all of you, you know, don't use self-care as an excuse. You know, like sometimes we tell ourselves, oh, well, I'm not going to do that this afternoon because you know, I need some time out. Really look at what you're giving as, you know, where those excuses are coming in, because you know the difference between, you know, working really hard and you needing to absolutely switch off and look after yourself. And I think Rosie's been hugely, I know she's been hugely busy lately and working crazy hours, and she has needed to take some time out for her to really switch off and fully 100% switch off. But it's in contrast, looking at those times when we use that as an excuse for not doing something, because oh, it's all right, I don't have to do it this afternoon because I've been busy and I owe myself you know, some time out. And that very well it may be true, but it's looking at it and making sure that it's not just an excuse for not doing something. Next page, if she can do it. Okay, so we've been talking about this already, playing full out, and it's always going to be a theme in our trainings because that's what it's all about. It's about playing full out. It's about stepping into behaviors and actions that we've probably not taken on in the past, not taken ourselves on in, really being as effective as we can be in the actions that we take, playing full out in things like the morning ritual. I think pretty much everybody, Charlotte's just, we're setting up Charlotte's morning ritual in the morning, but everybody else has got their morning ritual set up, and there will be a recording of that for everybody in the next week, so that you've got like a backup for when you're finding it's a little bit more difficult, in that you're not associating, you're not getting emotion, the emotional kind of connection that we're looking for. Seriously, in the two aspects, the gratitude and the love components, what we want, the ideal when you're playing full out in that and you're connecting emotionally and associating emotionally, that you will have tears flowing. You will get that filled with an amazing emotion. The other aspect, of course, is your empowering statements, yelling those out, and like just in absolute beast mode. And I know it's been tricky with those who, with everybody who's had me on the end of the phone and, yelling out to you to ramp it up, and you're yelling them back. That's confronting, but that's fantastic. I love it when we are confronted, because that's where the growth is. So I want you all to be playing full out in this process every single day. So that's the other aspect for the morning ritual, and playing full out. It's every day, because you'll notice such a difference, and you'll notice a difference if you don't do it. So I want it to become, that habit, 30 days of willpower to make sure you do it, and then you will be at a stage where you won't want to miss it. But again, it's taking the action, committing to yourselves that you're going to do this no matter what. Playing full out in your steps to success. So this is every Monday morning, having your action steps up in the group. So this is your accountability piece. It's where you know that these actions that you're putting up in the group are the most impactful for you to complete in the next 7 days to grow your business. If, tonight we'll talk a little bit about, we'll have a kind of a Q&A, that if there's anything that you're not sure about of what to put up in your steps to success, we can go there, or, private message me if you're not sure anything. Just ask me questions around what are the most impactful things that you could be doing this week. And as I've reiterated to all of you, it's not about doing those things that are, the easy to tick off ones off that to-do list. It's the eat that frog kind of action step that you need to take. So those of you who have put up your steps this week, awesome job. The rest of you, let's get them up. This is what it's about. It's about taking action, and this is part of taking action, is you identifying what you need to be doing, putting it up in the group so you've got some accountability, and then being your word and go do them. Because these are the steps that you know that if you do these things, which is probably going to be a push, then this could possibly transform your business, or at least it's going to, so keep you on track and on path. So playing full out, that also means every action, every thought, and every behavior is you playing at 100%. Playing full out. And there's just kind of a little aside to that. It's like what you're capable of and what you think you're capable of right now. In a short period of time, you may find that, well, you can. There is so much possibility that you have in not only your thinking and what you want to create, but also what's possible for you in regards to the amount of action that you take and what you can actually create in a shorter period of time than you ever thought possible before. So it's really stepping into the whole possibility of what's possible in regards to your output. Let's turn your output, because I know that all of you, I'm sure, at some time in your life have spent 8 hours in work mode, and you've been busy, and you feel like you've perhaps, maybe you haven't felt like you were focused, but you've been busy, and it's like you've spent 8 hours, and really, you look at the end of the day and kind of look back and go, well, I actually didn't achieve anything. But I'm feeling stressed because I'm stuck in the old favorites, overwhelm, confusion, and they are all your, the reasons why you're not moving forward. So when those are out of the way, you become a powerhouse. You become supercharged and expect more from yourself than you do right in this moment. And I don't want it to be in a pressure way. This is about you really being able to let go of anything that does not serve you. When you're doing your morning ritual every day, you are in your flow, I think you'll be super surprised at what is achievable. Especially when you've got accountability, you're taking the right steps, and the other work that we're going to be doing, this is where playing full out can take on a whole new meaning. So I just want you to keep that playing full out kind of concept in the front of your mind in everything you do. And maybe it's stopping every now and again, and am I playing full out in this moment? And playing full out does not mean, of course, stuck in your head and worry or fear or anything else. It's like, okay, if you are, what needs to happen for you to change that? And maybe that's a message in the group, maybe that's a message to me, that, as I've said to you all before, be a demand. If you need something, reach out. Okay, I've already covered that off. Your steps to success, posted in the Facebook group by Monday. So by the end of today, everyone should have their steps up in the group. This is about you knowing what you need to do, and as I said before, about accountability, but it's also about disciplines. I want you to be looking, we're going to talk more about this in a moment, but how you do one thing is how you do everything. And I'm not sure if we've talked about this in the group before, but it's really looking at, if you're not prepared to put up your steps in the group, what's that kind of mean to you? Like, why is that? Is that because you're feeling confronted? But looking at the concept of how you do one thing is how you do everything. Where else in life are you not showing up and you're not prepared to put yourself out there? So it's just looking at that concept of how you do one thing is how you do everything. Okay, this is cool. I really wanted to focus this week on the power of your steps to success. So again, it's just to reiterate what your steps should look like, and how to even kind of structure the post. So steps to success in square brackets and the date, and then number your steps. And I also want you to be really, really focused on what your goals are. I want you to be looking at your goals every morning. Have your steps to success printed out so that somewhere where you can see what are the things you're focusing on, and also write in there your 10-week goal. Again, the power of focus. Once every morning you've got this in front of you, so that you know that, you see that every day, every morning, You're focusing on your 10-week goal. And then just pop in underneath your steps to success, the image that you would like to kind of associate with what you need to do and who you need to be this week. And sometimes it's not the obvious things around, I need courage, or sometimes it's just love. Maybe it's that you need to put more love into the conversations that you're having with maybe in a sales environment, or you need to put more love in for yourself. So just stop for a minute before you choose your image and think about it. It's kind of like, what's the value I need to embrace this week? Maybe it is courage. Maybe it is just action. But is it love? What is it? What do you want to kind of embrace for the week in order for you to get your steps done? So I want that, woo, I haven't got control tonight. Okay, here we go, cool. So I want you just to really sit with where you are right now. Where you are right now in regards to, that tension between where you are now and kind of where you want to be. We've got goals. We've all got goals set for the 12 months, and also for the 10 weeks. So is there that kind of level of uncomfortability between where you are now and where you want to be? So firstly, the reminder is embrace the journey, love every aspect of the journey, knowing that the rewards are there. All you've got to do is take the steps, live in the moment, and do what needs to be done, letting go of anything that does not serve you and filling yourself up with everything that you need that you feel you don't have or you haven't embraced fully up until this point. So we've done visualizations around what that 12-month goal looks like with you standing there or wherever you are in that moment. So now I want you to pull that back to your 10-week goal. So you're in that moment, having reached that goal. And I want you to think about the person that you are now, because you've stepped up. You've pushed through the uncomfortability. Every morning you've got up and you've executed your morning ritual like a beast, with every ounce of emotion when it's needed, and you've connected and you've layered in everything so that every morning it's easy to get in that state and you're in peak state. So you've done that every day for the last 10 weeks because you're now at your 10-week goal. That you've accessed courage that you never knew you had before. That you're actually standing there, right? And you're in that place and you've kind of moved through all that, and it's like, whoa, all this stuff is kind of, everything that had to happen to get me to this point. It's like I've experienced confidence, momentum, because I've done what needed to be done and I've got the result. And it's like every day feels easier. So you're now in a different place and ready to step into the next level of who you need to be in order to get you to the next place. But at that 10-week period, do you see yourself as stronger and more courageous and, offering so much value in what you do and how you give that to, your clients or in your business? So I want you to access everything that you will have and everything that you will be. I want you to access that now. So everything you do, you operate from that place. Does that make sense? It's like you've now pushed through that barrier and you're on the other side of it. And you see things with different eyes, because when you do that, you do. So it's operating from that place now and taking the actions that you'll be taking from that place. Thinking the thoughts. So does that kind of make sense? I'm really hoping that you kind of grasp that, because it's kind of a little bit out there, but it's really stepping into the person that you are then once you've achieved. Because at the moment you're still operating from, I'm using the kind of the most disempowering aspect of where you are sometimes. It's like, I don't actually believe or have faith right now that that's going to happen, or I don't know that I have belief in myself that that will happen. So when you're on the other side of that and it has happened, you've got the belief, you've got the confidence. So I want you to operate from that place as if it has already happened. So just take on board the kind of the broad meaning of that, and see what lands for you and see what you can take on right now. Because I think once you actually, and hopefully you've all had experiences like that in your life before. It's like, wow, it wasn't so hard once I actually did it, and when I'm on the other side, I'm ready to go tackle it again. I'm ready now because I've got the evidence. But it's when we can actually have the faith and take the steps without having to have the evidence, that we trust, and that the reward of that is the result showing up. So we just want to touch a little bit on commitment and your level of commitment. You're all damned committed because you're in this program, and you've committed to yourself to step up, because you all knew coming into this that this wasn't going to be about just warm and fuzzies. This is also about you taking yourself on like you never have before, because you know that the expansion and the growth through this process is where you find those rewards that you're looking for. So you are committed. The thing that you have to be aware of is that thing, what we call fear, and we can lump all sorts of things in that bucket. That fear is the enemy of commitment. So you will lose your commitment when fear is running the show. So that's when you doubt what you're doing, you are fearful and living in that, and I'm not talking about, just that little head that pops up and goes, see, I'm still here, and then you're able to go, no, I'm committed, I'm following my path. I'm talking about when the fear is running the show. And commitment falls by the wayside. So I want you all to understand that, but also understand the flip side. That the enemy of fear is commitment. So you stay committed. You keep taking the actions, because it's sometimes not even about, like even if you've got a whole lot of stuff going on in your head, if you can just continue to walk this path of, being in this program and following this, your steps to success by, putting up the video or whatever it is that is challenging you, that's demonstrating your level of commitment to yourself. And fear can't live there. So it's, who do you want to run the show, commitment or fear? It's your choice. And I know sometimes that kind of cliched, everyone has a choice, and it's always about choice, and it so is. But sometimes when you're in that fearful place, that feels like I feel like I don't have a choice. But that's where the power is, when you acknowledge that you do have a choice. And when you so don't want to take whatever action step that is, you know, that you're hovering over the phone, if you're fearful of picking up the phone to make a phone call because you're feeling, you know, in that fearful place right now, not in that committed place, that the committed action is picking up the phone and making the call anyway, and that's going to override the fear, because the commitment, your commitment, has got the power still. At the moment you turn around and run in the other direction, then your fear is running the show. So just being aware, again, it's, you know, it's these distinctions, and I want, you know, in these conversations for you to be embracing what lands for you, what resonates, what distinction, what aha moment, because, you know, we can hear the same thing over and over and again. We don't even recognize sometimes that we've heard it, but then one particular time, it's like, you know, it lands and it makes sense and everything changes because you've embodied that. So that brings me to uncomfortability. It's kind of my favorite topic. Well, it's not really, but I just, you know, I personally have experienced so many rewards from every level of uncomfortability that I walk through. I spent way too many years of my life not wanting to move forwards into anything that resembled pain, or, I mean, a lot of those things at certain times in my life I would certainly describe as intense pain, not just uncomfortability. So I would turn around and run in the other direction, and I give myself every excuse, you know, like, oh, this doesn't feel right, so I'm not meant to do it, or I'm not meant to go there. And it's like, you know, I can't remember exactly what we were talking about before, but, you know, it's another one of those situations where, you know, when you kind of connect with yourself at a gut level, and, you know, that little voice that goes, yeah, Karen, you are killing yourself. But, you know, it's still easier to run in the other direction. So this is about uncomfortability for, you know, we're talking here right now in regards to what needs to be done in our business, or where we need to go in our life, or even in our thinking. What uncomfortability and discomfort do we need to move through that's going to last a short time? Because I'd say everybody in this group has some level of uncomfortability that they've not been prepared to walk through or deal with. And that's the reason that the results that you want have not shown up. And as I say, I so get that, because, you know, I was an extremist in not wanting to move into that in the past. So I know, you know, from not only personal experience, but the people that I've coached, how this can be, again, you know, like a life changer when you start walking through step by step, level, you know, one level at a time. As I say, you get through one. I had a bit of an experience with this over the 7 days that I was away. You know, sort of, we've got some things happening in my business that are all slick, and, you know, the wheels are well oiled and everything's turning beautifully, and then I got challenged to up my game. And it's like, hang on a minute, I'm just feeling really good about being comfortable. No. Now it's time to go looking for the next uncomfortable piece, because that's where the growth is, that's where the rewards are. And that's when, you know, you don't know what's possible yet outside that, or through on the other side of that uncomfortability. So move through there, get there, and then it's like, go looking for the next piece, because you get through the next piece and it's like, holy moly, there's another whole kind of world out here through this next layer that I didn't even know existed before. So it's I think for most of you, I've used the analogy of the box, that we're inside our box. You know, it's that box that keeps us, we think, safe and comfortable, but we're banging around inside, banging against all the walls, really, really uncomfortable. And of course, everything that we want is outside the box. But not only is everything we want out there, but we can't even hear the conversations that are going on out there. So we don't even know what's out there. But of course, when we push up the lid and we poke our head up and the lid comes down, whack, we pop back down and say, see, I told you so. You know, it's like, I can't get through it. It's you know, I've just been beaten up. It's like, no, no, no. You know, that's where the commitment comes in, because it's your fear that's whacked you on the head. So this is when the commitment comes in. It's like, no, and you're doing all the things, or taking all the actions, you're doing your morning ritual, you're doing all those things that are keeping you empowered as much as possible, and follow that through with your commitment, and till the box lid is completely opened. And you've not only just got your head just stuck outside, or you've got it up far enough, you're starting to hear and see what else is out there. But this is the unknown territory, remember, because inside the box is the known. It's all the things that have worked maybe, but you know, worked at the level of where you've been playing, but it's also all the things that haven't worked, all your fears, everything that, you know, and again, we're talking about the disempowered kind of aspects. There's a whole lot of good stuff too, but here we're talking about, you know, the growth that we want. So the goal is that you collapse sides of the box, the lid falls away so that there's no box. Because that's in the unknown is where all possibility lives. And you start hearing, seeing things that you've never heard before. And I know it almost sounds crazy that, you know, it's a bit like we were just talking about, you know, what's resonating and what lands for you today. You know, seriously, we even see things or we get presented in our visual path that we don't see. And it's the same with things we hear. It's the same as what's going on out in the big wide world. It's almost like there's another world out there to experience, but we've got to push through, get through that uncomfortability. So uncomfortability lasts a short time, but oh gosh, regret can last a lifetime. So just keep hold of that as a mantra almost, reminding yourself this is just a short-term experience to move through it. What happens though is that we can sometimes feel that it's a lifetime, like it's this uncomfortability lasts a lifetime, because we damn well keep banging our head against it and we keep experiencing it and turning away. So that's the bit that lasts a lifetime. That's the pain and the uncomfortability that lasts a lifetime, because we won't walk into it. When we do, and we're prepared to do that, and we do what needs to be done to move through that, it's a short time. So go looking for the next thing and walk through that. Don't regret ever again a moment. Okay, so I just want to touch on action. And this is from an experience that I had today, but it's certainly not the first, and it won't be the last. But I think it's a great thing to know kind of the difference between being effective and not being effective when something happens, when you're taking some action steps that don't go as planned or as you would like. I'm going to use myself as an example and what happened today, and that's with technology. So I'm putting together some sales funnels, right? And, you know, I'm okay with technology. I'm certainly not a whiz kid, but I'm not a complete novice either. So I do a lot of this work myself and quite enjoy it a lot of the time until something doesn't work. So if I stay in an emotional state around it, so I'm feeling frustrated, I want to throw the damn computer out the window, you know, and I will even sort of find anybody who'll buy into the conversation with me around, you know, dang computers and technology, and, you know, I'm expending all this energy and it's still not working. So I spent probably, this is just a small example, I spent an hour today feeling frustrated, wanting to throw it out the window, and it still wouldn't work. So that's me in an emotional state around something I'm trying to do, right? When you can let go of the emotion, realize that you're actually in an emotional state around whatever it is that's going on, and bring it back to logic. Okay, so I need to look at this logically. What is actually happening here? Okay, 10 minutes it took me to figure out what was really going on and what I needed to do. In fact, it wasn't even 10 minutes. When I let go of the emotion around it and the need to have some drama and, you know, rah, 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 and poor me, and I hate this, and I got into logic. This is a logical situation, not an emotional one. But seriously, it was 5 to 10 minutes. So I want you all to look at where you can, you know, go into drama and significance over something that's happening, especially when it's in conjunction with something you're trying to achieve, especially if it's something outside your comfort zone. You know, I was working in an Excel spreadsheet the other day that was, you know, I'm very okay with the very basics in Excel, but this was too hard, and again, I got emotional initially, and then it's recognized, okay, so if I wasn't able to figure it out, like I went into that logical kind of state, I couldn't see what needed to be done, so the next logical thing for me to do is go talk to someone who knows more than, you know, like can actually give me some support with Excel. And again, it was figured out. Otherwise, I could have been in that whole overwhelm, frustration, just that negative emotional state, and not achieved anything for a couple of hours. So really looking at that distinction between emotional and logical. And again, thinking for you about where do you do that? And where can you, next time it happens or shows up, it's like, okay, cool, got it, I'm being emotional. So I'm just going to park my emotions and go into logic. What would logic do here? That, you know, it can be super cool when you get that distinction, and but you've got to be kind of first aware of the fact that you are being emotional about it. I mean, you know, I think you can see, because it's kind of looking outside of yourself, that how I got emotional today is that, you know, you want to tear your hair out, you want somebody else to feel sorry for you because you're having to go through this, you know, hours of frustration. So just be aware of when you do that and what things trip you up, so that you can go into the logical state and look at it from that angle. Okay, just checking in to make sure we haven't got any messages come up, because I've been kind of Pix is off to Zumba, and I wasn't sure how long ago that was, and that's super cool. Okay, cool. We're just about kind of through tonight. So I just want to leave you with thinking about what's, again, steps to success, but also your 10-week goal that you're writing up there, and the power in focus. What do you need to be doing this week? So we've got out there our 10-week goals, our 12-month goals, but right now it's about this week. What do you need to be doing? Focus on that, take the action, and come from the place of certainty. It's, there is no other option. You're committed to doing this. You're in this program for a reason. This is about stepping up, and you all got your big girl pants on at varying degrees. Maybe it's day by day, or even hour by hour, moment by moment, as to whether they're down around your ankles or whether they're up firmly around your waist. But give yourself huge pat on the back and celebrate the fact that you're in this program and you are prepared to take yourselves on and you are doing what needs to be done. And on that note, I would just also like to add, again, it's playing full out, engage fully in the program. That means that if you've got some resistance to doing something that we're all doing, then that's where the growth is. So by you doing them, even if you've got something in your head around, I don't want anyone to see what I'm doing. I don't like having to be told that I should be doing this every Monday, or I'm so busy I haven't had time. No, just look at the reason that you've not done this yet, or the video again. The reason that you haven't done that yet, it's what's going on, where's the growth needed? Because you doing this will not only highlight that for you, but you'll get the biggest growth out of doing that. And if anyone's got any, a real kind of concern about doing any of these things, then message me. But I know none of you do. It's just because, the excuses and reasons in, inverted, got my fingers going here, reasons, they are your excuses. They are your reality, but it's no longer okay for you to tolerate that. Of yourself or for yourself. Don't tolerate it any longer. So certainty, it's about the commitment, the belief, even if you haven't fully embraced the certainty, the confidence, the belief and the owning of who you are and the value you bring yet. It's like take on the certainty aspect of it, as in there is no other option for me. I'm playing full out. I'm walking this path, and I know it's a process, but I'm fully engaging. So ramping it up for the next 7 days. Go girls. Again, play everything at 100%, and maybe your 100% for this week is ramped up from last week, and the week after that will be an even higher level of 100% than it was this week. I guess it's a little bit like how I've talked most of you through the empowering statements and yelling those out. It's like, come on, ramp it up even more, like access your beast energy. It's like access your beast energy, and that's, when I say beast energy, I think you all get that, the masculine energy, the powerhouse kind of energy to get momentum and to take yourselves up to that next level and next level and next level. So go have a fantastic, there is just one question. Yep, I do just want to, before we leave, I just want you to connect with, again, connect with your why. And I think, I know all of you, if you're not actually, your kind of your why as to why you get up in the morning and go to work, it's more, or go do what you do, it's more that big why, as in why are you so passionate about getting the result that you want? What is that big thing out there that's almost like your contribution to mankind? And that contribution to mankind can be, the contribution you want to make to your family. I have to say, okay, Charlotte, I want to just use you as an example. Charlotte has this amazing vision for what she wants to do, and the people that she wants to help. It's an association with building the business that she's building, but it's like this big, huge humanity mission that she has that's in her heart. I want every one of you to access that contribution that you want to make. And when you get stuck in, kind of poor me and it's about me and I've got all this stuff coming up, I'm fearful and what if it doesn't work, but somebody, blah, blah, blah. You're stuck in your head. I want you to think, remind yourself of what you're doing, and it's about changing other people's lives, and I know every single one of you have that as the core of what you're doing. So remind yourselves that it's about the other people. It's not about you. It's when you start wanting to give more and be more for those people than you want to kind of fix your own situation, that everything, like you can let go of everything that you don't need, because it's not about you anymore. It's about the contribution you can make, the contribution that you are making, how you can be the best at what you do, giving to the people the solution that you've got to offer them. So on that note, I just want you to have an amazing week. Connect with your why. I hope some things have landed for you tonight. You've had some distinctions that you haven't necessarily had before in some way, in something that we've talked about tonight. And if you want to explore any of those kind of topics, any more depth, just message me and we can have a conversation around it or whatever. But I think that all of you are so open and ready to take on the new, kind of ways of being, that all this stuff's going to kind of go in anyway, and you'll see the effects of that. And something will come up tomorrow, a conversation, or you're talking to someone, or you're taking some action where you go, aha, okay, the awareness, and then being able to make a different choice based on what we've talked about tonight. So amazing week, you guys. Look forward to seeing all those steps to success, and I'm going to put up some posts around just kind of how to follow through at the end of the week. So when you've completed each step, as you move through the week, just go back into your post, find your post with the week, the date, and pop in there done when it's been completed, just in square brackets. I'll put an example up. And later on this week, actually probably be over the weekend, by Sunday night, you'll have access to the next level of training. So that's going to be hugely exciting to get you to start working on some other aspects of yourself and your business, that you'll be able to do this trainings / modules for you to complete. There's time frames around that, and again, it's about you being able to do that in your own time frames, but it's also making the commitment to do them in the week that they've been allocated to be done. And again, there's huge value in doing these, but you need to do them. So it's about the implementation. So go out there, have an amazing week, everybody. Wonderful to connect with you. And I know that, you know, most of us have connected individually in the last 7 days, and I just want you to all go for broke in your morning rituals and start getting the benefits of that as you move forward and you step up that game every single day. Have a fantastic week, guys, and we'll talk to you soon.